Happy Tuesday, guys. Welcome to the Airbnb Jams show. I'm your host, Mamadou Diallo. Like every single Tuesday, we go live and we talk all things VRBO, Airbnb, all things hospitality business in general, not just Airbnb. And today I'm with my co-host, Marta Miner, like always. We're here, and today's topic is all about 5 tips on how to maximize your Airbnb investment, right? How to maximize your cash flow, how to maximize attracting more guests, and all that. So, hey, Marta, how you doing?
Hey, Mamadou, how are you? I
Good,
love the
good.
music. Do. Love it. So, yes, this topic is my favorite. First of all, let me introduce myself. So, my name is Marta Miner, and I love everything Airbnb. I'm a short-term rental consultant. I'm a real estate investor, and I love Airbnb specifically because like all my passions are combined into one when it comes to Airbnb. I love the design aspect. I love the hospitality, customer service, and also cash flow, right? So those are my top favorite things. So I love Airbnb, and we are here to provide value and tell you guys the mistakes we've made and some of the amazing things that we learned while operating Airbnbs. So today's topic is very important because if you are getting in the Airbnb game, you have to know what you're doing in order to maximize your profits because you want to make as much money as possible. Anybody can jump into Airbnb, but not everybody can be successful. So we're here to provide a little bit of value and guide you through the process.
Boom, boom, boom. There you have it, guys. So again, like I said, if you're new into this channel, guys, we go live every single Tuesday, 3 p.m. Eastern time, which is 12 p.m. PST, Mara?
12, yes. Right now, the half of the year, it changes, but for now it's 12 Pacific.
Right. So we go live, talk about all things Airbnb, guys. We do listing auditing. We already have, I'm going to put it in the description below. I literally have a playlist on my YouTube channel right now. You guys can see all the prior episodes that we have. Listing auditing, if you have questions, we'll answer them for you. And we're going to start bringing guests, but we'll announce it, guys. Once we know which guests we're bringing on, we'll announce it and let you guys know. But we'll start bringing guests also to give you guys their different perspective, how they're being successful in their own respective journey when it comes to Airbnbs. So again, today, number one, start by liking, subscribing, hit the notification bell, guys. Don't be greedy with the algorithm. So today, like I said, we're going over 5 tips to help you maximize your Airbnb investment, right? That's cash flow, how to attract better guests, and all that fun stuff. So for me, number one, Marta, which is obvious, might not be, I don't know. For me, number one, what I thought is location. Number one tip would be probably location first and foremost, right? Choosing the right location.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Super important when you're trying to do Airbnb or so guys, we use this term really loosely. We're mainly talking about short-term rentals, anything that has to do with the hospitality, vacation, short-term type of rental. So there's multiple different ways to monetize it, but the number one tip would be choose the right location. So I'm going to let Marta expand on what I mean by that.
Yes. And, there's 2 ways to look at it because we usually are proponents of finding a location where other people are successfully running Airbnbs. But I also recently met a host that has a very different strategy and it works for her, but it involves a lot more work. So you can either take the route of, okay, look up whichever city you're interested in doing Airbnb, find out where people are buying those properties. Because let's say I live in Scottsdale, Arizona, not every single place in Scottsdale is going to be ideal for Airbnb. So for example, HOA areas are not ideal. They're a little bit better for midterm rental. But if you want to run Airbnb, it has to be most likely not HOA or HOA that is not very strict, right? Then you also want to see how many other people are doing Airbnbs in that area. And that's going to be a clue because if everybody's rushing there, that means there's a lot of potential in that area. But I wanted to touch on the other Airbnb host that I learned about her strategy. She actually picks locations that are remote, which is very much what we usually say not to do. But her strategy is she creates an experience that people go specifically to her house for that experience. So if you want to do that, if you live in a remote location, let's say you live on like a really big farm or vineyard or something like that, and you want to create like a specific experience for your guests and market it in that way, and name your house something special. I don't know, like some kind of a retreat. You print your business cards, you market that house, so people are coming to your house and not to the location. So that's another way,
Ooh.
right? So they're seeking out that experience and they're
Right.
going there just for you and not just to see other things. It can be done very successfully if you include things like, you can do airport pickup and transportation, and you can create like this whole fun weekend for them where they get to see a winery, they get to, milk the cow or whatever it is that you can do in your area. You can still be very successful and have a very profitable Airbnb, but you can't just put it in the middle of nowhere, Ohio, some rural town, and hope that people come. You have to invest money in
Mm.
marketing and, and developing like the brand. So
That,
that's
that absolutely makes sense. It's funny because I did travel in an area in Virginia. I think it's called West Virginia, I think it's called. And is an area you wouldn't even think of going. It's super remote, just mountains over there. But the whole reason that I went there, it was the experience, like you said. They have this like it's nature, lateral, like you have all these beautiful animals just freely walking around, right? But they have like these like very special cabins near the water, like right above the water almost, and you can
okay.
just go stay there. And then they have like this gold temple
Oh, wow.
in the middle of that area. It's like this very tiny little community, super remote. But man, I had one of the best experiences there. Like it's so peaceful. Didn't have my phone. You cannot even have service there. Like
Yeah.
when you're there, you connecting with people there. Like man, just made me want to go back. That's where I need to go actually. Like it's I love that. I love that business model. Obviously, then you have to be creative. When it comes to that strategy, you have to be somebody that think outside of the box. That's number one. So number two, you have to be either familiar with the area where you're doing it at. It's actually not the area because they're coming for your property, but you
Yeah.
you gotta have something because usually these people that they love giving people experience in a specific thing
Yes.
that they love. They're passionate about it, right?
Yeah.
I love that one. Okay. So that's number one. So number two, guys, would be I think Marta might have another number two, but number two, I think, have to do a lot with after you choose the right location, find the right property, have to do a lot with how you design and furnish the house. Do you
Yeah,
agree?
I mean, that's pretty much the biggest thing. Once you have the location, what is appealing to your customer? First of all, you have to pick your avatar. You have to pick your
Right.
customer and you know who you're catering to. Because if you're catering to a bachelor party, it's very different than retired people that are coming on vacation, to play golf. And if you're catering to families versus bachelor, you're going to furnish your house differently. So do some research and figure out what's popular in your town and wherever you're starting your Airbnb, and see your competition, like the competition that's successful and always booked. Look and see what they're providing and look at their reviews. This is a big tip for you. Look at the reviews in your city of top Airbnbs and see what kind of comments people are leaving. If they're saying like, it was so close to golfing, I love the location, it was so close to the beach, blah, blah, blah. Either they say that, or they may say, I love that it was so far away from the noise and I really enjoyed the peacefulness. Like, see what people are saying and what they're coming there for. They're coming for parties, for restaurants, for, to relax, to find a good spa. And then based on their reviews, you start figuring out who your avatar is, who is your ideal customer. It doesn't mean that only that one customer is going to stay with you, but when you're furnishing your property, you kind of have to have that in mind. Because see, my home here is all white. Like, I love white. This is not a home for bachelor party, right? I mean, no bachelor party, bachelorette, bachelors are not going to be interested, because they're going to be like, you know what, like, this house, there's too much damage that can happen. And I do it on purpose in my properties, because I want people to be scared of all the, I don't even want to mess with that. So that's how I kind of deter certain people, because I cater to more like more my properties are more luxurious properties, and I'm hoping that people that stay with me are more established and they're coming to relax and just have a peace of mind versus party. So however you design your property is going to attract a certain crowd. And sometimes I hear all these complaints that hosts are saying, like, I'm attracting all these horrible guests and they're disrespectful. They ruin my furniture. And you look at their listing and they have like dorm furniture and their prices are like $40 or $60 per night. Well, of course, you're going to attract that because that's how you set up your Airbnb. So if you don't want to attract that crowd, you have to set up your property in a very different way. So I have a lake house, one of my Airbnbs, and they had signs everywhere like, I don't even want to say it out loud, but SHIT is the word that they use a lot. And it say, that happens here at the lake house party, blah, blah, blah. They had it everywhere. And I'm like, that is not the crowd I want. So I replaced it with like relax, peacefulness, like all kinds of signs. So whoever comes to party, they're like, that's not for me. I don't want that,
Right.
So that's a big thing. And I always, like, if you don't have a designer eyes, the best thing you can do to get the highest revenue is to hire a designer. You have to hire a designer that will help you put everything together. We've talked about it many times, so we're not going to repeat all of it from scratch, but it's well worth your money. You may spend $5,000-$10,000 on a designer, but it will pay off in having a house that's finished. It's a finished product and not couple, grandma's furniture and something from a yard sale put together that doesn't make any sense. You will definitely make your money back by hiring a designer. So yes, that. And let me just also touch on another subject that's to me just as important as a designer is a photographer. Because I've seen houses that are designed really well. And then you see that, the homeowner is just taking pictures and they don't know how to capture the angle and they don't know how to capture what the customer wants to see. Because a lot of times it may be the view and your camera is not capable of capturing that. It just doesn't have enough light in it. It just doesn't have enough depth to be able to capture it. Your photographer has an eye for details that you don't. It will take much better quality photos, even if your home is not furnished like in the best way. It will look better. It will look brighter. It will look more inviting. It will be captured from different angles. And me as a traveler, I don't want to just see a back of something, like I want to see like how I'm going to be moving through the space.
Yeah, and it only costs few bucks. It's funny, like it only costs few bucks, and they're I mean, they studied this. That's what they do. They take pictures. That's what they do for a living. I know I made that mistake on our first Airbnb. We went cheap, took the pictures with a freaking Android, and it really hurt us on the cash flow. To be honest with you, and we started attracting the wrong crowd, like you said, because like just the picture itself would have changed a lot. And like you said, the design and furnishing is huge, because guys, like you're providing an experience. Your pictures is literally when somebody's looking at the pictures, they're picturing themselves at the property. So it's like, do I want to sit here what I'm looking at right now? Like it's the same way when we're looking at social media right now. Like when they're going through Airbnb and finding a place, they're scrolling and trying to see which property should I choose in this area. And usually they're looking for something that will stop their eye and go, whoa, I want to be in here, right? I want to have this experience right here. So that's what you're providing. So the pictures, that's why you need a professional, because they know how to take pictures in a way where it provides you an experience. If you look at it, you picture yourself there, right? The design and furnishing, if you have zero experience, then it's hard for you to come up with themes and put yourself in the guest, like you have no experience. You don't know, you've never done it. The only way for you to decorate, and I see that a lot, people go and decorate their Airbnb the same way they decorate their own personal home.
House.
Like,
Yeah.
it's not your house. You're not
No.
decorating it for you, you're decorating it for the people. So I love what you said about the reviews, because the reviews actually teach you a lot about people's experience when they come in there. What are they looking for? What didn't they like? What they like? So that when you're doing yours, you can go above and beyond and try maybe to provide something that is other people are not providing. Especially if one complaint keep coming up. Oh, this was missing. This was missing. Maybe you can try to implement it. So I love that one.
Totally. And it's like people are shallow, just like when you go on dating apps and you look at somebody's picture, you don't look for their character. First, you want to see, am I attracted to this person? And it's the same thing with Airbnb. They want to see, am I attracted to your place? Am I even attracted enough to even click on it? So your number one first picture has to tell them the story. It has to pull them in enough that they click on it. And then they say, okay, well, let me see if I'm even and then they're like, oh no, that's not what I thought. So you
Right.
have to like open it up in the way of a story and explaining that your house is an experience for them, so
Mhm.
don't skimp on like investing money in showing the beauty of your place, and hire a photographer. Like that, I don't know.
100. The third thing, Mara, I think, which is huge, I would say, is management. Having the right management in place, either whether you're outsourcing it or you're doing it yourself, but like the systems for the pricing, for getting back to the guests on a timely manner, ordering all the supplies, everything that's needed, all the items that's needed for a functioning Airbnb for your guests to have all they need when they get there. I think that would be number three. I don't think we're giving them in an order, but all these is super important for
Yeah.
you to maximize your cash flow and have guests that are happy. What do you think about management? Like what
Yeah, I think, I don't know if it's the order number 3 is management. It possibly could be. I think management and customer service is like hand in hand, because what we're talking about here is somebody who is a contact point for a guest, right?
yeah.
So management from two different points, like they need to make sure the property is clean and all that stuff. They lined up your cleaners, they turn the property over, they let you know if there's maintenance issues. That's important. But when you pick your management company or whoever you work with, you always have to make sure that they will respond to your guests, because I can't even tell you how many Airbnbs lost out on business with me because they don't ever respond to my
Mhm.
question. They just do auto
Right.
replier, excuse me. And they like, I'll ask them, is there parking on the property? And they say, yes, the dates are available. I'm like, okay, I understand the dates are available, but I'm bringing big Tahoe. Can I park there? Yes, we are looking forward to working with you and hosting you on our property. And I'm just like, I'm bringing a child. Do you guys have a crib or ability to, rent a crib? And they respond to something completely different. And I'm
That
just
has
like,
to be people using like automated bots, right, to answer, you think?
bots, like
Right?
bots
Yeah.
are answering, and there is a service that will help you. And I think a lot of hosts are bragging on it, like, oh my gosh, I'm hands off. I don't even respond to my guests. I'm like, and you're losing 50% of your profits,
Right.
because number one, you're losing revenue by people that are not booking with you, like myself, because I'm like, no, unless you answer my question, I'm not booking with you. And number two, people that are already staying with you, if you don't have management company that gets on it like this, you're going to get a bad review. And bad
Yeah.
reviews will kill your business faster than anything else. You can't remove a bad review. You have to work extra hard and spend extra money and do so many amazing things to now get all the 5 stars to make up for one bad one, right? So to
Mhm.
me, property management, or even you can have a property manager managing your property and you can be managing customers, whatever works for you, but you have to have somebody responding directly and not be a bot that just answers generic message. I believe it's totally okay to send generic message for somebody who sends inquiry, and just let them
Mhm.
know, we received your message, we'll be in touch with you, and provide a time frame. Then at
Right.
least I know, okay, I'm going to get the answer to my Tahoe question. I just need to wait 2 hours, right? Which is already,
Right.
to me, that's already bad. Like, I don't want to wait 2 hours because I'm already looking and I'm credit card in hand, right? I'm
Mhm.
ready to book. So you're really
Mhm.
killing your business even in 2 hours. It's okay
Right.
to use it if you know that you can't get to it for an hour or so and you're going to respond. But dude, I just booked like this $20,000 rental in Newport Beach and they never
Mhm.
got back with me. I've sent multiple requests about, I think, parking or something. No live person ever got back with me, but I booked it anyway against myself because I need that location for a photo shoot. So I'm like, ugh, I hate it that they got my business. This is only one-time deal, and I do so much negative publicity that, I mean, I won't name the person, right? But I'm like, who wants that? Who wants to have a bad
Yeah.
reputation like that, right?
Yeah. I think you can have it is okay to have those automated answers through like AI services or whatever, but like for generic questions, like there's generic questions, right? Like time frame, how do I get those type of things that okay, but there's always personal questions that these automated machines cannot anticipate. That's where either one, you do something like either you have, if you're a property owner, full-time short-term rental Airbnb business owner, and you have like over 10 to 15 properties, it's probably going to be tough for you to answer everybody yourself. So one, you can either, if you want to do it yourself, which you're going to be burnt out and give up at some point. So
Yeah.
that's where you start losing business because you're like, man, I'm tired of answering questions at midnight, 1 a.m., right? Then you need to outsource it. Like, our third co-host who's not here today, Hong Mai, he uses virtual assistants to answer other questions, like live questions that like maybe AI cannot answer, right? He used virtual assistants and he hired them from CallStar. But you can use virtual assistants also to answer for you,
Yes.
and then like just teach them, hey, if somebody asks this question, you answer this way, you answer that way, blah blah blah, because that's live. Like sometimes, especially with like the time difference and stuff, like sometimes there's guests that need help after like midnight, like
Yeah.
you're gone. So if you have those virtual people answering for you, they're actually available and they can answer those questions, right? So I think that's okay for the generate questions to use the AI stuff. But whatever you use, whatever automated machines. But like you said, because that happened to me also on I forgot what I was booking for, but you're right. I'm asking something, but I'm getting an answer. I'm like, no, but that's not what I'm asking about. And then I realize I'm talking to a robot. I'm like, okay, I'm out.
Yeah, and
Okay.
you know what? I think in our times where we live in such automated world and nobody really cares about a customer, if you care about your customer and they see it, you are
Yeah.
going to stand out so much because nobody cares. Now we have artificial intelligence, everybody's doing shortcuts on everything. But when you call customer service on your phone, do you prefer to be online saying like, I can help you, press 1 for this? I'm like, no, my question has nothing to do with press 1 or press 2. It has to do with the question I have,
That's
so
right.
we all want human interaction and there's so little of it available that if you want profitable Airbnb business, you will stand out if you respond quickly. Like I always notice that because I travel so much. When somebody responds to me as a host and
Mhm.
they actually say thank you, well, just human talk, normal
Yeah,
interaction,
yeah.
it
Mhm.
makes me feel so
People
special.
love that. Yeah.
Yeah, like it's not common in our days. So I think if you want profitable business and you want to be here long term, offer that service.
It's funny though. That's what people are craving now because it's
Yeah.
not there. People like even in our other businesses where it's just like real estate in general. Like when you call people, right, and they go, "What's your business model?" Like I just got a property in Las Vegas, negotiated subject to, right? I just said we're doing sober living. It was done. We provide housing for sober living. It was done because like the seller was like, oh man, I love people that they're not just calling me trying to buy my house, but they're actually providing a service to other people. Like it was so like even in general, if you're doing business nowadays, people want to work with people, invest in people, or sell to people that have that human connection, a higher purpose behind whatever they're doing, which should be that's our human nature, by the way. It's not something um that is new. It's just that we're being spoiled with machines and stuff, but that still doesn't change. So Marta, let me know if you can hear me. You feel like you're frozen. We're gonna head to tip number 4. Tip number 4, guys. So tip number 4, guys, to me, until Marta comes back, tip number 4 to me, I think it would be after. So we said number 1 is location, number 2 you have design and furnishing, number 3, which is huge, management. If you're using a Airbnb manager, I hope they have all their systems, all their ducks on the row. They have systems in place, because if you have an Airbnb manager that is trying to do everything themselves, at some point your property is going to suffer from it, right? So number 3 is the management. Number 4 probably have to do with all the extra step that you take. Let's say I get into your property, is there something that you leave behind as a gift for the up and coming guests, whatever it is? I see some people leave candy, some people leave extra cookies, some people leave whatever it is, right? Maybe going a little bit above and beyond, so that when people step in and walk inside the property, there's something there waiting for them, almost in front of the door. I've booked an Airbnb in I think this was in Maryland. I think it was in Maryland. And like soon as I walked in the door, on the left they had like they left something on the table. It was like bunch of cookies. There was something to drink, candy. was like it looks really nice. I could tell they like went above and beyond to leave it there. As soon as I walk in, here is a gift for you. That's what I understood. I literally texted them it's saying thank you, but I thought that was really nice. For some reason, guys, my co-host Marta Miner got kicked out. She might have had lost connection. So that would be number 4 for me. I would have been curious. Hopefully, she gets back in here in a few. Number 5, guys, would be I think number 5 would be being able. Oh, there you go. There she. Oh, that's Mr. Hung. Let's see. Can you hear me, bro?
Hey, what's going on?
Good, good. How are you? Marta just got kicked out. So I'll just, guys, Hung just joined us. I'll let him introduce himself for a minute and then we can jump right back in. Yeah, Hung, go ahead and introduce yourself.
What's going on, everyone? My name is Hung, and I love Mamadou. And I've been in this space for the last 2 years. I've been an entrepreneur for the last 10, and we're I think by the end of this month, we're currently at about 15 properties, but by the end of this month, we're going to be at 20. So super exciting. It's going to be a busy week for sure. And we just launched our listing in Clinton as well. So that's really cool too. But yeah, really fun. I really enjoy what I do. I pinched myself because this last weekend I had a moment where I was like, man, I'm doing what I thought I'd be doing for the last decade, and I've been working so hard that now I get to work on my own stuff, and I can't wait for everyone to have that same feeling as well.
That's awesome, man. By the end of the month, 20 going from, so you have about 5 in escrow.
Yeah, so it's no, so they're not all that are going to be mine. The majority of it, no, it's actually the majority of it is like co-hosting as well.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. So and 20 underground. That's a lot. So tell people, because one of the things today's topic obviously is the 5 tips on how to maximize your Airbnb investment, right? So we started with number 1, location, obviously, which is super important. Number 2 was the way you design and furnish it in order to attract the right guests. Taking the way you take pictures, everything matters. How you design, furnish it, how you take pictures matters. Number 3, which is huge, management, which is your one of your expertise, right? Number 3 was management. So like, how would you go about picking the right management? Because I know that's like there's people when you number 1, let me ask you this: if somebody's new and they just have 1 property, do they really need a manager, or do you need up to X amount of properties before you bring a management in? And then how do you set up all these right tools to make sure you're not also working 24 hours to respond to guests after midnight while you're sleeping? People are blowing your phone up.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good question. So, so the first question in terms of like, when do you need management? It depends on what your end goal is, right? So if your end goal is to want to start an operations, like a short-term rentals operation, a hospitality operations, then you would like to preferably bring it in-house and do it on your own, and then eventually train, team members to help you along the way. So that way you can keep like the top line revenue, because you are giving away top line revenue when you're getting management on board, right? That's just the matter of fact. However, if you're truly just an investor and you don't want to start another arm of business, then you can go and search for the right management. And you're right. Like, this business like rise and fall on good management. Like, the successful management is key in terms of how well you're going to operate in the space. Because, for instance, if you don't have good communication, which is like the low hanging fruit of this industry, if you don't have good communication, and you reply back within like, not even an hour, but like 30 minutes, it would be so detrimental, because every single time that you do that and you wait that long to reply back, it's like a little like invisible scorecard. Like they just marked you, and then they're going to be like, And then they're going to tell you that by the end in your reviews, and it's just it's just really tough. And the bloodline of this business is your reviews, pretty much. And so if you don't do that well in terms of just the customer service side, not even like the setup of the property is what I'm talking about right now. It's just communications, right? It's going to fall by the wayside, and it's definitely going to be affected for sure. So I mean, that's just the foundation. So yeah,
if communication doesn't work, I don't even want to go to the next step. If I'm like communicating, I'm asking questions, you're not answering, I don't even want to go. The next step is done, right? That's the foundation of is like you trying to build a wholesale business, and your co-caller is like, you don't take time to train your co-callers. That's the foundation. If they're not good, nothing is coming after that. It's like you're not getting any leads and anything. So it's the same thing.
Right.
Okay. So if you're not, that makes sense. If you're trying to build, because it's a whole, like the Airbnb management is a whole business by itself. It can be its own business. So if you're not, it's better to outsource it so you don't even deal with it.
Right.
Yeah, that makes sense. So
in terms of I don't know, what tip are we on already, or have we already?
We're at management. That's where we left off when Marta dropped off. So that was number 3. We're heading on number 4, right? So, but I love the tip that you just gave. That just summed it up, because Marta had already given her thoughts on that one. So number 4, what would be number 4? So we already spoke location, design, furnishing. That's all together. Management. Now we just wrap that one up. And then number 4, to me, what I was saying is going a little bit extra, above and beyond. Like, for example, one time I rented an Airbnb, right? When I walked in the door, he had like, it seems like specifically put a gift for me on a small little table. I had like cookies, something to drink. It's like it's set up like for me. Man, I literally had to text him and go, I don't know. I just appreciated that when I walked in. And I feel like that's above and beyond, because I've went to Airbnbs where you just walk in, you have everything you need, but there's nothing waiting for you specifically outside of, I gotta go cook right now if I'm hungry right now, right? I thought that was really like, okay, he took a step, had a little touch, personal touch. I really enjoyed that. So number 4, what would you guys say number 4? Let's start with Marta.
Well, and actually I have a course where I teach that specific thing. It's a gift basket and welcome basket. And it's such a simple thing that honestly, like, it doesn't cost very much money and it doesn't cost very much effort. You can buy all the items in bulk, but it means so much to people because it's, once again, personalized. It's like away from being generic. You're not a generic guest to them. You are a special guest, right? I see a lot of times when I travel, people go as far as like writing on a blackboard my name, like, welcome Marta and the family. Or, when you check into nice high-end properties like Ritz-Carlton, they leave you personalized messages in like beautiful envelopes. So you check into your room, you open it up, and it says, welcome minor family, blah, blah, blah. So, if you want to be perceived as like this high-end experience, high-end luxury property or whatever, you don't have to be luxury. To me, it's not about the luxury or how much you spend. It's about being seen by the host. Like, the guest wants to be seen. So for me, like, offering a welcome basket that consists of, you can really pick whatever works for you depending on your location. If you're like in the countryside, it would be nice to have like freshly cut flowers from your garden, and you can provide some like fresh fruit or whatever you want to do. But in certain locations where, let's say, you're known for honey, like honey is the biggest thing in this town, go and purchase in bulk a bunch of little samples of honey and just leave it for them, because they will take it home with them and they're going to brag to their friends, like, I went there, I got this gift, and it helps them remember their vacation. So just kind of look around, like, see what your town is known for, and purchase something in bulk inexpensively that leaves that lasting like memory for people, and also they're touched by your generosity. And the law of reciprocity is what I always like talk about, because when you do something for me, I feel obligated to do something for you. So when you welcome me with your gift, I want to take care of your property, because I feel like, oh, now, right? Like, I want to give something of myself. So the more you give, the more you receive. And everybody wants to have a bottle of water and, maybe some wine you can leave, or some snacks for the kids. So when people come in from being really tired after traveling, they just want to grab something really quick, and they really appreciate that.
Yeah. So guys, that side of things, right? This is where you appealing to the human being's inner child. Everybody has it. We all love attention in everything we do. People just love attention. So I want to be seen. Man, I just spent 10 grand with you. You better see me. And how do you see me is by showing me that. So one question, that thing right there, Marta, raised one question popped up in my mind. Okay.
Yeah.
You leave something behind, a gift basket, okay, whatever it is, honey, whatever. How do you avoid, because again, we live in the United States where there is people out here, they make a living out of suing people because of allergies. The coffee was too hot, the tea was too not tasty, right? How do you avoid somebody going and suing you because they're allergic to somebody you left them behind? Do you leave notes on, hey, if you're allergic, consult a doctor? Like, how do you avoid that? That literally just popped in my mind.
Yeah. I mean, like, I honestly have never had any problem with people going that crazy. Like, if somebody's allergic to honey, they probably won't eat it, but you want to look for things that are not like super, problematic for people. It's like, it's a closed jar of honey. So even if you're allergic, you probably won't touch it. Or you can say, like, use per your own discretion. These are left for people to enjoy as you please. Now, some people who are against wine may be very offended by the fact that, because maybe they're sober or whatnot, like their cultural or religious belief doesn't allow them to drink wine. But I think if it's done tastefully and sits on the side, it's not in their face, like they're just going to be like, okay, that's fine, I'm just not going to touch it. But you may always run into issues. Like, that's with any business, right? Like, in any business, you have potential to get sued. You have potential to, have somebody be dissatisfied no matter how well you do it. But what I do on top, let's say I leave the gift basket, I'm very hands-on. So I'm going to reach out to my guests and chat with them. And if I sense any dissatisfaction or something is off, then, I try to find out what's going on. So for me, I'm never going to run into it, most likely, because they will open up and tell me, like, hey, something is wrong. I was offended by your gift, blah, blah, blah. Then I try to make it up to them, because to me, a happy guest that leaves happy and leaves me happy review is worth me spending extra money. I apologize. I'm so sorry this happened. That was not my intention. How can I make it up to you? My goal is to provide a 5-star service. So if this offended you, if this was not up to par, what can I do on my end to make it up to you? I've never met a human being, unless somebody's mentally ill, that will say no to that and still want to sue you.
Yeah. And honestly, yesterday I said one thing. I forgot what show. What was I having? Forgot what was the record, but I was saying, like, if 3 things if you fear, do not even start in the industry we in or any business. If you fear toilet leaks, tenant headaches, renovation projects going wrong, you breaking even, not making money, don't start. Keep your 9 to 5, go to work every single day, come back home, watch Netflix. You're not an entrepreneur. If you fear people suing you, like wanting to sue you for whatever reason, whatever it is, misunderstanding, this and that, if you have a fear and anxiety over that, don't start, because it's going to happen in your lifetime. If it never happened, that means you haven't expanded and you never grew a huge portfolio.
Yeah,
it's gonna happen. So you might as well make peace with it. The only thing is, like, how can I make sure I do, the best I can to avoid being in a position where I was wrong. But the rest, like things that I don't control. And the thing about the food, it just popped in my mind, Mara. But the thing about the food, even like, let's say you have a bottle of honey, they usually have the stickers. Yeah, right. That disclose all of that.
Of course.
I know people are crazy.
You don't leave, I've seen in Airbnbs where people think it's a service to leave food in a fridge for me, like open container of somebody else's jelly and stuff. And I'm like, that is when you get in trouble, because that's against like a violation of sanitary laws and stuff like that. I don't remember what it's called, but you don't leave anything open, especially during COVID. Obviously, that's super red flag. But I've been to places where it's more like in Arkansas, where it's not like, a popping and popping area. I rented the house. I opened it up and there's everything still in the fridge left from a previous guest. Or maybe the owner. So I'm like, I don't know what to do with it. I don't want to throw it away. So I just pushed it to the side, but it was very unsanitary. And that's how you can get in trouble, because if somebody does get sick, you can't guarantee open container. You cannot guarantee what's in it. If there was an issue with it, when it's closed container, then, hey, if you want to sue the honey producer, be my guest. I don't care. If you get sick, that's not on me anymore. It was closed container with packaging, with all the labels, everything on it.
Absolutely. So with that being said, Hung, so we went over location number 1. design furnishing number 2, management number 3, number 4, like I just said, above and beyond a little bit. What would you put number 4 for you?
For number 4 for me, I don't know if this is like spoken enough or at all, but I think one thing is what you can do is charge extra for extra guests. So what that means is like your price per night is based on a 4 or 5 person stay. However, when there's more than that, it will start to charge per person per night extra. So you're competitive already on like whatever is your nightly rates. However, when there's a bigger party, now you're playing into like the other competition, because let's say that if you have a 4-bedroom versus other people's 4 bedrooms, they might just sleep 8 people, right? However, if yours can sleep 12, well, now yours become really valuable because they don't have anywhere else to stay other than yours or like another competition that is not as nice, right? So you can charge that way, and we do that with all of our listings. What's some other things? There's another one that I was just thinking about. Little things like what Marta was talking about. For instance, like ever since I came back from Georgia at this plus Airbnb plus listing where like they just got it like handled. Okay. They did this little thing where they have like a water bottle on every nightstand in the house. And I thought, that's so thoughtful, And so so ever since I came back, I had all of our property have water bottles on their nightstand. And it's just like a little touch, like it's just a little touch, like thank you. And it really doesn't cost you anything more, Nothing. Yeah, it costs you nothing.
Have the cleaners literally do that, right? When they clean.
Yeah, exactly. So that's something that we've added onto that is just like a little thought, basically. But yeah, I think that's probably one way that you can increase your nightly rates. Also, another thing too, I think is what I like to do is I raise my prices. So I raise my prices so that it's higher than what the competition is. However, I'll give a really deep discount to bring it back down. So in comparison,
I think that's number 5.
Oh, is it?
Number 5, I was gonna say, is pricing.
Got you. Okay, right? So I skipped a little bit ahead. Yeah. But yeah, that's something that I've done as well.
Right. Yeah. So that's perfect timing. So number 5, I was gonna say pricing. So we can go into that. Then Hong, you can talk about that. Marta, what do you think about pricing? Because I know there is a skill with it when it comes to like pricing your Airbnb the right way. Adjusting the pricing depending on what season you're in, based on location and whatnot. So let's touch on pricing a little bit for number 5.
So pricing, depending on what we're talking about, when you're starting out and you have no guest reviews, your pricing will be different than your pricing after you have multiple reviews. You always have to start lower to be able to capture reviews. And after that, you go into your competition and you check and kind of see how they have it set up. And depending on the strategy, everybody is different. Like Hong prefers to go a little bit higher, and me personally as well. Like I prefer to show a product that's better, because when you see a higher price, you automatically think it's going to be better than the competitor, right? So to me, that's a good strategy. Other people try to go lower because then they can get more people, kind of more turnover. But to me, I don't rely on turnover. I want quality. And more money per guest, versus like more guests that I have to turn over, do more housekeeping. So that's not my strategy. One thing that I did learn my very first Airbnb is that you have to either use dynamic pricing, or in my case back then, I didn't really know how that works. So I kept changing my prices myself, because not only for the reason that, the most important reason for that is that Airbnb has an algorithm. And if you don't touch your property at all, if you set it up with your property manager and it lives there in the same space for 5 years in the same way, you're not going to catch that algorithm that rewards people that are messing with their listing constantly. So updating pictures, changing description, and changing pricing. It has to be constantly touched and moved, and fluctuate the pricing. That's what they reward. They want to see that you're an active listing. So I remember that my listing kind of went silent for a little bit, and then I started messing with prices just because I was desperate to rent it. So I'm like, what if I do this? What if I do this? What if I change this to this, or whatever? And then right away I had so much interest. So it's important to not just let it be. Like, you have to see, is somebody coming into town, like a big band or whatnot that particular week, or NASCAR is coming. I don't know any of sports, but there's a lot of sports that come into town, or football games, and adjust your price accordingly. And one more tip that I'm going to leave here with you guys is that you don't want people to be able to book way into the future, because you may not be aware that there's like a big convention in town, and all of a sudden, like, it's completely booked up, and you could have raised your rates by double, but you're not, because somebody booked you a year in advance. Like, I'm that person that will book you a year in advance at the cheaper price, because I'm very organized and I plan my travel like way ahead. So I look for people that don't know how to do this business. And I'm like, oh, awesome. I can book my Flagstaff vacation a year in advance at the cheaper price. And then last minute, they lose all the profit. So pay attention to like all these details.
Boom, 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 guys. Love that. Mr. Hong.
Yeah, so I mean, exactly what Marta said is I do the same thing where I raise my prices, and the thing about, especially I guess on Airbnb, is that they like that you use all of their features. So if you can use like their discount features, they will help give you a boost. If you use, like they have tons of stuff. Like they have early birds, meaning if people book far out in advance, you can give them a discount. So you can actually do that without hurting your quote unquote, investment or revenue loss, right? What you can do is inside of Price Labs, you can increase your price by 25% 2 months in advance. So anything that's outside of 2 months in advance, you can increase the price by 25%. And then within Airbnb itself, you can put the early bird special that anything that is 2 months out, you'll give like a 25% discount. So that way it comes out to the same thing. But in the meantime, if someone is searching that far out, you will still show up because you're hitting that, you're hitting kind of like that beat that Airbnb have available. Now, one really cool thing I just figured out too is there are some people that have been transitioning or looking into potentially getting rid of their cleaning fee. And I've seen some people implement it to where instead of putting it into their cleaning fee, they'll get rid of it and they will put it into a management fee. And the management fee, it's cool because management fee is not a line item in their final payment.
Okay.
It is dispersed out within the total nightly rates. So the guests don't even see it.
Oh, that's great.
However, it would only work obviously is if you are if they don't do it in a long enough reservation where it just disperses out and it makes a little bit more sense than if it's a 1 or 2 night stay, right? However, it depends on what type of property it is and what market you are in, because if you're like a $100 or $200 a night reservation and your cleaning fee is $200 and you do a 1 night stay, they're gonna look at it a little bit weird, right? But if it's spread out between 3 or 4 nights minimum, then it's a little bit more reasonable, and they might not see that. So it makes more sense for them in general. But you kind of have to play with it. But that's something that I've been kind of like looking into to advise or to potentially even state like, no cleaning fee or small cleaning fee or whatever the case may be. So that way to kind of see if that would attract some people as well. That's something that you could do.
This is such a good point, but I just recorded a video on this because I was booking my reservations for my stay in Poland with my family. and I booked multiple Airbnbs. And then something caught my eye because it looked so different at the end when you go to final screen how much you pay. And I compared two different reservations. One that I made for my Branson trip that's coming up next month. Let's say I paid $6,000 and they added like $2,000 worth of fees, taxes, cleaning, management, everything. My properties in Poland were, let's say, $2,000 property, and they charged me $50 for cleaning, and that was it. And I was just like, okay, what is going on here? How do they do it differently? It's the same platform, but when I go to book my reservation, I tell myself, okay, I have about, let's say I have $500 budget per night. I get to the very last screen and my budget 500 is now 1,000 almost, because they've added all of that. And I really love what you said, Hong, because when you add that into nightly, I am still interested. I'm not going to drop off on the last screen when it comes to all these extra charges being added, because it's already still fitting within my nightly rate. Like I'm between 5 and 550. Okay, cool. That's good. But when I go to the last screen and you've added thousands of dollars of extra fees, like I get so discouraged. Like I don't like that. So I think the way they have it in Europe is somehow low. Whatever all the other fees that Airbnb has, they have to be built in the rate. And it looks so much cleaner. I'm going to try to find a picture and share with you guys. Like it looks clean. All it is a cleaning fee. It's not abnormally big cleaning fee. Obviously, cost of labor over there is lower probably in Poland.
Right.
But still, like it just makes sense. And I was like, why aren't we doing that in America? Why can we not build them in to the nightly rate? I guess you want to attract people initially to show them like, look, it's only $200 per night until you get to the last screen and it's 400.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's like, again, it's like you kind of have to test it because in some markets it may work and then in others it may not. Like I know, for instance, like I'm just going into a market right now, which is New Orleans, and I'm coming to find out very quickly that it is a very predominantly weekend warrior type of market. Like people are, it is like the price tag between the weekdays versus the weekend, it's like 1 to 5.
Wow.
Like it's very different, and people are booking it for the weekend like that. And so
Scotland isn't any over there.
Yeah, so I get it. It's New Orleans, so it's that type of market. And so even then, I'm still playing with the prices and stuff like that too. So you kind of have to kind of see what market that makes sense for for your listings. But no, it's a great way to definitely look into it, and because then you can advertise in the title that no cleaning fee or whatever the case may be, right? Like that's a huge thing that not many can provide. And honestly, in terms of I guess boosting revenue, right? Boosting revenue and guests. I think most people don't really have an idea of like how to do the title. So I'm just gonna add this little bonus tidbit at the end is your title is not there for it's not there just for looks. Your title is a good way for them to get quick information about what your listing is. If they just briefly look over it, for like the 2 seconds that they're on there, right? So you have to get, like, they're not trying to, they don't care what your bungalow sound like or what the name of it is. They want to know what is in there and what amenities you provide. So best example is what you can do is always provide like your best amenity in your title. So for instance, you can put like king bed or king master suite or master suite king bed or whatever the case may be. Or if you have like a pool or hot tub or a game room or bonfire or no cleaning fee. Or if you allow long-term stays, you can put long-term stays available at the end too. So that way you can put that in there. But like for instance, if you have, not everyone like little features, even like rain showers, right? Not every property has rain showers. If you have rain showers, you can put rain showers, and that's a huge plus. Like, like people look forward to that stuff, and it's a little bit antique-y, right? Like it's a little nuanced stuff that people look for. And so they're like, oh, rain showers, what does that sound like? So they'll go and they'll look throughout your photos to find it. And that just helps your click-through rate in terms of what is available and stuff like that too. But
Yeah,
yeah,
totally.
use your title to your advantage as well.
Yeah, people, I feel like, really don't understand the space of that subject line and that title, right? So they put in 3-bedroom, 2-bath, beautiful, luxurious property. And I'm like, first of all, I know it's 3-bedroom because I'm searching for 3 bedrooms, right? I already put it in my search that it is 3-bedroom that I'm looking for. So you're wasting that valuable space. Secondary, I really don't like when people assume for me what's luxurious, or, like they say luxurious, whatever. You click on it, pictures are from 1973. And it does not look luxurious. So you're already leaving like a bad taste in my mouth by you putting, description of it that you may think this is luxurious. I don't. Or modern. And then you see grandma furniture, So use that space to stand out. Whatever is unique about you. Like if you're in New York, you would say parking spot available if you have a parking spot,
Exactly.
right? That's the most important. If you're walking distance to the beach and you're somewhere in like a beachy community, that's what you put in there. It's not about how many bedrooms you have, because we already know that, right? So use that space to stand out in some way from your competition.
Boom, 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 boom. There you have it, guys. On today's episode, 5 tips on how to maximize your Airbnb investment, cash flow, profits, whatever you want to call it. Like I said again, every single Tuesday, we go live at 3 p.m. EST with my co-hosts, Hong Mai and Marta Miner, and me, Mamadou the Diallo, the only Mamadou Diallo, guys. Don't pay attention to the other ones, all right?
Yeah.
Make sure you like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, guys. If you get value from this, share it with your friends, okay? Let us know if there is an Airbnb guest that you would like us to bring on here. A lot of these Airbnb folks that you guys listen to, they're actually part of our network. So what we're going to start doing, because you guys are probably sick and tired of my voice, Marva's voice, and Hong Mai's voice when he's preaching the Bible, okay? So we probably want to bring some fresh new voice here so we can hear also their journey, experiences, what is the challenges they're dealing with, how are they, maximizing their profits, whatever it is. If you have listings, more than happy to audit it. Marta is an expert on that, listing auditing, okay? We're going to also bring back case studies. We're gonna do case studies like Hung just said. We have one of our Airbnbs just went live, but yesterday, Hung, I think I saw the pictures only today. I was so busy I didn't even see the pictures. Look bananas, make me want to go and like Brendan always says, bananas. Makes me want to go and there, right? So guys, share, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, leave a comment, let us know what is your takeaway for today, okay, if you're watching this in the future, and what other topics you want to hear about. Make sure you connect with these 2 beautiful people on social media. Their handles is right here. Hong V Mai. He still cannot buy his name, so he has to put the V in the middle. He tried it. The guy said, "No, I'm not selling."
Who knows? I might pay for the verification. Who knows? Just...
Right. Marta Miner, guys. Her handle also is right there. So you guys definitely want to connect with these people. Build your network, guys. Build your network. I'm telling you guys, and most importantly, if you're listening to this in the future, if you're new, the one thing I cannot emphasize more is just take a perfect action. Don't overthink this stuff. Just take freaking action. You have no money whatsoever, go back in the previous episodes that we made, and I'll have I have a playlist that is created in the YouTube, so you should have all the episodes. But just take action and start with one strategy based on where you're at. Either you have money or you have time. You cannot not have both. If you don't have both, then you have a problem in life in general. It's not about it. You have money or you have time. If you don't have none of it, it's fix your life first and then start something. So knowledge is not power, guys. Applied knowledge is power. Knowledge is absolute garbage if you don't apply it. So if you learn something, apply it right away. Everything you're learning from here, from the previous episodes, how to get your first property, how to maximize this, how to raise the private funds. You're actually going to bring some, maybe that would be a good one. Bring some private lenders and talk about how to get these funds and get your Airbnbs funded. That's another thing I'm going to add in the list, right? But guys, here is an action taking example that you can apply today. Somebody reached out to me after an event, a real estate event that we did where we're educating realtors about creative finance, okay? We connected, they are connected with his sister connected us. He reached out to me and he ended up wanting to invest $50,000 in one of the Airbnbs that I have, okay? Boom, we talked, connected, right? Number one, the reason he connected with me, obviously, the event, right, guys? You got a network, right? Show up at the event. Number two, because I post on social media, so they know my name, right? Credibility. But when we connected, he went to walk the property. He said, "I want to see the property that I'm investing in. Blah blah. Go walk it." He went to walk the property. He texted me. He said he's at the property. I texted him. I said, "I want you to pull out your phone." I literally gave him the script. I said, "Pull out your phone in front of you. Don't overthink it. Don't have to be perfect." And say, "Hey, I'm walking this property right now. I'm about to be a funding partner with Mamadou, and this is what they're doing. This is how they bought it." 60 seconds. I was at Chipotle literally, guys, when I texted him this. Went, walked it, did the video, guys. 3 days later, he just texted me yesterday. He raised $70,000 himself.
Wow. That's awesome.
What did he do? You told me, I just did it. He didn't overthink. Oh man, but Mama, I've never posted online. Oh, I don't know, my camera angle is not good right now. No, just post the freaking 70,000. He literally texted me yesterday, guys. He invested with me $50,000. Now he raised his own fund, 70,000, which he already have a property with his sister on the contract that they're about to close on. One freaking video. So now he just keep posting. He's posting both English and Spanish. All right, guys. So knowledge is not power. Applied knowledge is freaking power. That's my gospel for the day. So I'm gonna let boom, there you go. I'm gonna let Martha Miner go first because Hung Mai will preach, bro.
I'm squeezed into a sandwich between two preachers. I can't deliver anything better. That was actually really inspiring. I love that.
That was good.
You preached really, really well today. So I don't know what Hung's gonna do. But no, I love it. And I love you are a master of applying your knowledge, Mamadou. And it's amazing to see that. Like you're just on top of it. And I don't know if you guys even noticed, but he just came back from the dentist and he's swollen and everything. And he's on it. Like it takes commitment and it takes like dedication and it takes like, it's not always convenient for us to be here at this time. People have life and dentist appointments and things. And it's commitment. You have to commit to yourself. You need to commit to your dreams. You need to commit to growing, learning, even if it's not comfortable. So I love Mamadou is a great example of that. And so is Hong as well. One more tip that I would share after everything we mentioned, once you have your Airbnb set up, go stay at your own property. That's the best thing I can recommend because you're going to see so many issues and things that you forgot about because it's nice to look at it. But then when you actually stay there and you realize you have nowhere to plug in your phone, your hot tub is actually not working, you forgot the towels for the hot tub and all the other things, like your kitchen doesn't have the needed equipment. That's when you realize like, oh, before I go live, I need to fix those little issues. And that's when your Airbnb is ready. So that was my preaching for today.
Ooh, that's a good one. That's good.
I like that.
Actually, need to apply that one. That's a good one.
I like that. No, that's amazing. I think I haven't heard someone say that in a while. And that's something that I did do at least once for all of the properties that I'm local anyways, that I've done. And through those trials and errors, I've made kind of like a list of like what things that we need to confirm, like making sure little things like things that are functional, but that aren't like very top of mind when you're like setting up a property because you just want it to look good first, right? You don't think about the functionality. So like no outlets, there's not enough outlets for you to plug in their it's like little things that really add up. Especially in the master bedroom where like the main person is staying, you don't want to give them a bad experience. The others it may be a little bit more malleable, but the main person, you definitely want to make sure that they have everything they need and stuff like that because they're really the one that are gonna
paying the bills, right? They're paying the bills. So the kids can be upset and we just tell them, okay, it's fine. But the ones that are paying the bills, you need to cater to. Like the way I furnish my property within the kitchen, especially area, you can cook Thanksgiving dinner at my properties. That's how detailed oriented I am. I make sure that you have everything enough because you don't know who's coming there for what reason. If they're coming for a family reunion and we're hoping to be able to put together a nice spread and cook with their family. And then they go in and there's no pots or like what my pet peeve is there's one pot or one pan and I have a family of 5 and we're all trying to cook breakfast. And then they did provide something, but it's just not enough. So if you're gonna just bring your friends, go to your property, have your friends stay at your property for a discount, have them write you a review and tell you in private what you need to work on that didn't work for them, right? When they were staying with you.
Right. Yeah, and I actually have I had to hop off like 10 minutes ago, but I try to stick as far along as I can. So I'm gonna keep today short. I think the one thing I was on another podcast the other day, and it was one of all of our good friends, Sam Singh, and I was in their group, and I was talking about like no one is coming for no one's coming to save any of us, right? Like if we're waiting for someone to come with the motivation and the word or something like that, which is great, like you're waiting for someone to give you the motivation to take action and to do X, Y, and Z. But like Jim Rohn always says, what happened if they don't show up?
Mm-hmm.
Then you're screwed, right? So you have to realize that like you got to do this for yourself, and you have to realize like what's your other options, because like if you don't go for it, like what's your other options? Like your other options are you're still going to be where you are. Like I think we spoke about like the fear of failure, that a lot of people are scared of failure, but they don't realize that failure is part of the process. But school just did a really good job in terms of hammering it in that failure is bad, that we get an F and that's it, right? But in life, that's not the case. And I've learned that through like personal development, that you have to go from one failure to the next, because that's the only way you're going to be able to figure out like what's the right thing, what's the next opportunity for you to do. And if you don't, if you're scared, then you're just going to be there safe in a little corner where you're going to be doing the same thing over and over again, right? And it's not, nothing is going to change. And I shared a little bit about like my story too, about how I at the beginning when I was like on my journey, I was working from Friday to Sunday for like 10 to 12 hours a day, and sometimes even like one other day during the week when they're really busy. And so like 4 days out of the week, and especially my weekend, I was working full time. And I don't know what a weekend is. Like, like to me, weekends was always my Mondays. Like that was when I go to work, right? And so my vision for what I wanted in my life was, I wanted, like, at first you have to know what you want. Then you can figure out what is the price, and then if you're willing to pay the price. Because if you don't know if you don't know what you want, you can't get the price. And so when the receipts come, then what does those receipts look like? That's birthday parties. That's going to family events. That's going to like your girlfriend's best friend, whatever, right? And it doesn't serve you. And there was a lot of sacrifices that all three of us had to do. Like me, Mamadou, Marta, all of us made some sacrifices. However, we made it because we knew what we wanted and we knew what the price was. So we were able to make the sacrifice. But if you don't know what you want, you can't get the price. So you can't pay for it once the time comes. The hard part is if you don't know, once it gets there, then you have to make the decision. Then it's already over. Like you're already like, effed. Right? You got to know it beforehand, so that way you can go out there and do what you need to do. And especially if you're a guy, listening to this, I have a little bit like tougher love with guys, because like life is really hard for us. Like, outside of the social norm, life is harder on guys, because if a female, let's say, loses everything, and you don't have a job and you don't have a career, like a guy that has his stuff together, it will pick her up and will just take care of everything, and she can be a stay-at-home mom if she wants to. I want to put that out there, right? However, if it's a guy and you don't have your life together and you don't have a job, or you don't have a career, or you don't have a vision of where you want to go, if you have someone that loves you right now, they can only love you for so long until they see that you don't have a vision, and they will leave you.
As they should. And they
will leave you as you should, right? Exactly, as you should. And so I told my girlfriend when we first started was that, baby, I love you. However, I got 3 days that I'm at work. I'm giving you 1 day. That means I have like 3 days left. And if you want me to give you another 3 days, that's not happening because I can't work on my future. And if I don't work on my future, then I'm not going anywhere. And if I don't go anywhere, you're probably eventually going to leave me as well. And she's like, I would never. I was like, yes, you will. You know, I love you to death, but yes, you will. You okay?
Yeah.
I knew that early on, thank God, right? And so that's why I was able to pay the price because I knew where I wanted to go and what I wanted to do. And it wasn't that like I had a specific route that I want to take. I knew the goal, right? But the way I got there changed, right? Like I went through a lot of different stuff. This is not my first like venture. It's like my 7th, right? But I make it look good though. Okay. But that's all. That's all I got for today. Okay. So I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day.
Boom, boom. That's it, guys. We can't add nothing. It's like what we just said here. I think. What do you want to add? Anything you want to add, Marta? Because I think.
Well, I don't know that guys have it so much harder than women because we also have to a lot of times carry our weight. Plus, we have kids, you know, to take care of. So I think the roles are just different. Neither one is like harder or easier, but obviously everybody who wants to be somewhere in life has to put in the work, right? Whether you're a guy or a woman, like if you want to be successful, you can rely on your significant other necessarily. The work has to come from you. So, you know, we all are in the same boat.
I think the point he wanted to emphasize is as a man, you're most likely not to have somebody take care of you.
Yeah,
right?
I used to work with doctors, so I see a lot of doctors, female doctors that marry guys that are stay-at-home husbands that take care of their kids. So if for a man, it's probably a strange position to be in. I would say it takes a specific type of personality. You know, like it not everybody's made for that.
It takes a special personality. Yeah, I think it takes a special personality because like there's like a respect dynamic for sure. Like for men, you know, like it's a little bit different for sure.
That's a different topic, guys. We can go on that topic.
Yeah, that's a different topic. I definitely have to go. Yeah, but I
But this was beautiful, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you, Marta. Thank you, Hong Mai. Guys, be on the lookout for the next episode. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and show us some love. We appreciate you guys hanging out with us.
See you
Until next
week.
See ya.